Hi everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. Welcome back for all those who are returning to us, and anyone who's new, welcome to our channel. The whole point of the channel is to really encourage and inspire people who are dealing with homeschooling and autism and just life in general. So let's get into it. Today's video is kind of off the cuff. I've been struggling to try and figure out what I was going to talk about today, and I've been sick this week, so it's been one of those things where it hasn't been a high priority, and I didn't have one sitting waiting for me. And so I thought I would talk about today the challenges that we've faced in the playroom and homeschooling with Darrion, and then some of our wins or the things that have been really encouraging signs for us. So I'll talk about the challenges first. So our biggest challenge, especially before sunrise, was just like muddling through and trying to figure out what we were going to do and how it was going to be best to take care of Darrion, how we were going to prepare him for life, but also not knowing whether he was going to be able to do school, or would he become, he's got a huge interest in science, is he going to become this mad scientist, well, not mad scientist, but a really smart theoretical physicist like Sheldon. We had no idea, like the range of what your child could do is so big, and just trying to figure out how to navigate that. And then homeschool is another thing, because you're trying to figure that out on that term, but also going, because he can't verbalize, it's, well, what's the best way to actually discuss it with him? What's the best way to find out if he's getting bored? Is he interested? Is he having fun with anything that we're talking about in school? And writing has definitely helped me with that, but at the same time, just like any other kid, you go, shall we go do schoolwork? And they're like, no, I want to do my own thing. I want to play. I want to do anything but that. And so you spend a lot of time trying to go, okay, am I hitting all the markers? In the playroom, challenges usually are just trying to not get him engaged exactly, but because he's pretty engaged when he's in a one-on-one space. But just trying to make sure that the time that we put into the playroom is valid and meets the expectations. And sometimes those expectations are just my own expectations. We had a really good day, but I didn't really teach him anything, or I didn't really, and that's when I've had to tell myself, you know what, this isn't about getting to the finish line. This is about the day-to-day interaction. And if he's interacting with me, doesn't matter if all we're doing is tickling and playing that way, or I got him to say one or two things. Woo! You know, I find for myself as a parent that my expectations usually are, I'm in a rush. I'm in a rush. Part of it was we didn't find out about sunrise until Darrion was 10 years old. I didn't really, I found out about when he was 9, and then I didn't really do anything about it until he was 10. And so I really felt like I was behind, and I really needed to rush and make it happen. And I've had to since kind of reevaluate, because it's want everything but need nothing. I've had to reevaluate my attitude. Is my desire to have my son be one of the people that recovers, quote unquote, is that driving me to push him? And oftentimes I can say yes. And so I've had to scale back and go, you know, it's not really a challenge on his part, but it's definitely a challenge for me to go, it's okay if he's leading, and his lead is, we're going to have just a relaxed tickle day. Yeah, so it's just one of those things where I really felt that it's important for me to kind of reevaluate that kind of challenge. Um, yeah, am I doing it for him or am I doing it for me? Some of the other challenges that we have faced is potty training. Now, our potty training is pretty well done and taken care of, which was a very, very long process. I'm sure many of you have experienced that. But there has been residual issues, shall we say. Um, he has a real sensory issue with his hands. And I'm not sure exactly why or in what way, but he prefers to write with his pencil with his shirt, which makes pencil grip properly very difficult. Um, but he doesn't wear socks and underwear, that sort of sensory issues. But he doesn't really like wiping his bottom with toilet paper. And so uh, it's really gross, but he will take a curtain and if it's on our curtain rod for our shower, our curtain rod in our entryway to kind of delineate all the mess and shoes and storage, curtain in the living room wall, he will wipe himself on that to avoid going to the bathroom when his body says he needs to. Or if he uses the bathroom, that's when he uses the curtain rod. And so we've been really struggling. Like I said, that's literally the only one, but he has it on a schedule where he uses the washroom in that way at night. And then he always gets a shower after to spray out his bottom. And that's one of our big struggles is how do I get him to know not to do that or to, like, I don't have curtains in my living room or separating the mess from from the guests. Things like that. He won't do it in his room. His curtains are always clean. But the girls' blankets, sometimes he will find them and do that. It's been on pillows, like whatever is readily available. So that would be one of our big struggles and challenges is dealing with that. And even in that way, I would say with completely with the potty training, he did it on his own time, and I just have to be patient. You ask him about it, and he's like, "Oops," and you're like, "No, that's not an oops." So for whatever reason, like we're just trying to make sure that our house is clean as possible. But yeah, that's a big challenge for us. Another challenge that we still struggle with is him getting up to put things in the garbage. So it's candy wrappers. It's like, I don't want this piece of orange segment because I don't know, some arbitrary reason. And it always ends up behind the couch. It ends up outside our window. He wrecked the screen. And so we've got tons of garbage just being deposited into my flower beds. That sort of thing we're still working on. And again, you ask him about it, he's like, whoops. Yeah, so let's go on to some of the big exciting things. It's things like talking has been huge, and I'm so thankful for the Sunrise program, for the amount of talking that he's been doing. And in his writing, he's actually said the playroom is where he learned to talk. And he's not perfect at it. We're not anywhere near conversational yet, but he has more tools in his toolbox to use, which has been really good. And as a mom, again, that challenging aspect for myself has been, let's go. He's doing it. And I just want him to explode with language. And of course, that hasn't happened yet. And I have to be completely and totally okay with it. But the things that he has been doing is really, really exciting. So one of the things that he did recently was, I think I talked earlier in earlier videos about blanket ride, and it's been this huge tool to make him, or to help him learn to expand his sentences, interact more and stuff like that. And I honestly wish I had more energy to pull him around constantly, because it has been that great and it morphs into more and more words. But the other day I was purposely misunderstanding some of the things that he was saying to push him into saying more things. And he's got a little basketball hoop over here, and I put the blanket in the hoop, and he looks at me and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, yay, because I've never heard him say, "What are you doing?" with that expression on his face. It wasn't something that I can pinpoint to a television show that he's picked up. That yeah, it was a true, honest, clear cut. If any human saw me do that, they would have the same reaction. And I was so excited to see that. The other thing was, we've been working on, he'll say, I don't know why he doesn't like to call it a trampoline, but he doesn't. So he calls it the bouncy thing. And so he was telling Faye that he wanted to put the bouncy thing bed. And he's trying to get us to put it up there so we're ready for blanket ride and we have more room to pull him on, or pull him on the floor. Yeah, anyway, you get it. So we pick, he's been trying to put those two things together with more words in between. And so he actually, yesterday, he looked at Faye and said, "Put bouncy thing on the bed." And I'm like, yes, he did it. And I was supposed to be sleeping in the corner, because sometimes he prefers if I'm in the room with Faye. And I was yesterday. And we picked it up, but I was supposed to be sleeping, and I literally was like, yay, for my sleep, and then went back to sleep. Because I was so excited by the fact that he had finally been able to put those things together. And then Faye goes, "Oh, okay." And she went to go to the other side to pick it up, and then she asked him to come and help him, which he did, folks. He did. Usually he's like, "You're on your own." So we're super excited, super thrilled by some of the choices that he's making as far as language, but also by the fact that he is learning to talk and he's finding these words, and he sometimes chooses not to, but sometimes he just automatically can't help himself and he has to do it. So I am really excited. It's kind of just an update video of how our Sunrise program is going, the challenges that we face inside the playroom, but also out. And then I talked to you guys a little bit about homeschool, and since I've been sick, I haven't had lots of energy to be doing homeschool and playroom. Monday, Tuesday were complete write-offs for me. And so we're just trying to get back into the routine. He's been really resistant to doing language arts because I think he has to use a pencil. And if you've been watching my earlier videos, that's always been a bit of a contention with him. And sometimes he's willing, sometimes he's not. So it's just been kind of one of those things where I feel like there's going to be days where you're just like, we're on this and we've got it and it's going awesome and great. And then other times there's going to be these transition periods where if he's been sick, I haven't been sleeping, and then I got sick twice as bad as any of the kids had this silly cold. And at the end of the day, I know that this week hasn't been full of great work, really consistent, but at the same time, he's still getting it. We're still doing things in our day-to-day life that we're able to do stuff, and I have to be okay with not being 100% all of the time. We'll call this week 50%. Yeah, about that. And it's okay. It's okay to have one of those weeks where you are not full on ready to go, raring to go. And so it doesn't matter at the end of the day, like I said, because I was sick, but he still did awesome yesterday. So I sometimes wonder if he needs those kind of transition periods, because then the next day that we do it, he is awesome. So this is just, I hope this was encouraging for you guys, that you, if you're sick or if you're not feeling super motivated or whatever, that you can just give yourself grace and understanding, and it's okay. I don't always feel that way, just a heads up. I'm telling this to me as well, but it's worth going, you know what, we're just one person. We're just one person trying to do all of this the best that we can. It's okay if you need to take a week at 50%, because the next week is going to be at 100% again, or 90. Have a wonderful day, guys. I hope that this week is full of potential for you and that you just enjoy your wonderful kids. Have a wonderful day.